to our 1850 points installment of Warhammer 40,000. It's a frozen riverbed. We saw this terrain as we came in at Tabletop Nation and said we have to use it for our next game. It is Imperial Guard, and they are going to be taking on the Dark Eldar. So we're at the edge of Imperial Guard territory here. You can see the boundary's been marked out. There's the bridge that's been destroyed, and it'll be Dark Eldar trying to break their way into Imperial Guard territory. Very, very interesting piece of terrain, this one. It's going to make for quite a different game. But it's James's Imperial Guard, and the Dark Eldar will be bursting on to the table. So spring is on its way, but it is still thick snow and deep ice on this terrain for this next instalment. Alright, welcome to our 1850 points. The game of Warhammer 40,000. It's Imperial Guard against Dark Eldar. So the Dark Eldar are back. We never know what's going to happen with this force. Always a crazy result each time we play. And it's a classic one today. Imperial Guard are going to try and survive against the Dark Eldar onslaught. So I'm just going to run through the my Dark Eldar list here. So you've got the second in command first, the younger brother. He's being protected by a unit of 4 Incubi, and he's in the Venom, and the Archon here is got a Shadow Field and Agonizer, and he's the one that will be carrying the Webway portal. And then the actual army commander is here, and he's protected by 6 Incubi, and again he's got an Agonizer and a Shadow Field as well. And there's a slight change in the list. I've gone for 10 warriors now, so it's a full squad, and I've also given them a Dark Lance. They've got a bit of anti-tank capability there, and they'll be inside the Raider as well. And then 2 units of Witches, the same upgrades. Both squads have got Haywire Grenades, they've worked very well in previous games, and then there's a Hecatrix in each with Agonizer as well. And then a unit of 10 Hellions with a Heliarch with Agonizer and Phantasm Grenade Launcher. So unit of 10. Then 5 Scourges. There's a Solar Rider now, I've given it a Blast Pistol and a Close Combat Weapon. And there's also a Haywire Blaster and Heat Lance in that squad. Then 9 Reavers. No upgrades, just an Arena Champion in there. Drop the Heat Lances from this squad, and that has freed up the points to upgrade the warriors. And then finally, just some heavy supports here. The Ravager, and then the dreaded Razorwing that's performed quite well in the previous game against Blood Angels. We'll see how it does. It's the only flyer on the table, so it might have free reign to cause some nasty destruction on the Imperial Guard. So that's the force. Looking forward to this game. I have no idea how it's going to go. Dark Eldar have performed terribly, and then they've performed really well. So we'll have to see how they do.
Right, this is my 1850 Imperial Guard army. I have a company HQ with company commander, senior guardsman with a heavy flamer, Vox and 2 metal guns, and a dedicated transport is a Chimera with hull-mounted heavy flamer and dozer blade. I have 2 platoons. The first platoon is commanded by Commander Chenkov, and his platoon command is armed with a Vox, a flamer and an autocannon. And I have 2 squads, one with a heavy bolter, grenade launcher and Vox, and the other squad is armed with a grenade launcher and a Vox. I have an Aegis Defence Line upgrade for 50 points, and a dedicated transport, which is a Chimera for the platoon command, and have my second platoon. It's exactly the same, really, equipment, but no Chenkov upgrade, obviously. I have 3 Hellhounds.
Ouch.
Yeah, one of the squadron leader, which is this guy. He's slightly different. He's got a hull-mounted heavy flamer, and the other 2 Hellhounds have got hull-mounted heavy bolters. I have paid the 5 points extra for the smoke launchers and the 10 points extra for the dozer blades. And I have 3 heavy support choices. I have a Manticore rocket launcher and I have 2 Lehman Russ battle tanks, Sponson heavy bolters, and a hull-mounted las cannon. That's it.
So there's James's force. He's a bit less heavy on infantry, still a good amount, and transports and defence, that looks pretty good. He's got the conscripts turning up, but he's trying something different here. The 2 Russes are pretty standard, but he's having a go with this Manticore, and we've been on at him to try and use that one, see how well it does. And then this triple Hellhound, going to be a nasty combination. Hellhounds are nasty, especially of forces like Eldar and Dark Eldar. We'll see how well he does. But we have said to James there's a special rule, and that is that he's not allowed to fire the flamer anywhere near the river, just in case he melts the ice. He's not impressed. This riverbed is frozen solid, so we're saying that vehicles can go on it. You can see where infantry have been digging foxholes. So it's the depths of winter here. Absolutely frozen solid. So there's no restriction on any vehicles moving about on the table. So we're going to go on now to deployment for this classic game. Right, the scenario is the Emperor's Wheel, so it's one objective each, one primary objective each, and the deployment is Vanguard Strike. So playing diagonally, we've just marked out the middle of the board with a central line of dice running up, and the Dark Eldar are deploying on the right here, so you can see the dice marking that out. They're coming round and they'll be facing this direction. So that makes sense that they're pushing their way into the Imperial Guard position. And then you see the grey dice there, that marks out where the Imperial Guard deployment zone is, and they'll be sitting back here. You can see that they'll have this whole defensive line to cover. Objectives have been placed. There's one here, that's the Imperial Guard. And then coming round for the Dark Eldar, the objective is just down there in the ruins. It's going to be awkward and difficult to hold objectives in this game. It's very open, so it suits the Imperial Guard. So it's going to be a tough one for the Dark Eldar, but they're not going to flinch. They will relish the opportunity. Right then, deployment for the Dark Eldar. The game's shaping up to look quite interesting here. The Reavers are way out on the left-hand side, looking to get an early strike. Risky deployment for the Dark Eldar here. We're in the open. We'll take the first turn, but if James steals initiative, the Dark Eldar could fold in very fast. The warriors just in the middle there, 10 of them, just holding on to the objective, just in a little bit of cover. And they've got a raider in support behind, and then the Ravager on the right-hand side as well. And then the Venom with the Archon that's carrying the webway portals just down in the dip there. Then James's Imperial Guard have deployed. He's put his Aegis defence line. James is saying that Aegis defence line is like a temporary emplacement, so he can put it on the ice. So we've let him get away with it. The Aegis defence line has been put out. Very handy upgrade in this game. His forces now deployed behind. Infantry squad on the right. Lehman Russ just there. Manticore protected at the back. Another squad, Chimera, with the command squad, and then 2 more squads down on the left-hand side there. And at the back, 2 Chimeras hugging the hillside with another Russ, and then running along here, the conscripts are behind the barricade, defending the left-hand side, and they've been given strict orders to march across the bridge, but no one's told them that the bridge has been blown away. So the Guard are deployed, and it's a comfortable deployment. All guns facing forwards at this Dark Eldar force. It could be a real turkey shoot, so Dark Eldar, full of pride and self-confidence, but realistically looking, it could be in a lot of trouble. We'll see how it goes. So nice deployment from the Guard there. Nice looking terrain, very, very different to what we're used to, and a challenge for the Dark Eldar, that's for sure. So we're going to move on now to the first turn of the game. Dark Eldar are going to go first, unless James can steal the initiative. So he's going to roll up. A 1. Right, Dark Eldar commander has got the warlord trait Night Attacker, and he has elected to put night fighting in place on the first turn of the game. So it's darkness at the riverbed. Will it be a bridge too far for the Dark Eldar? We shall see. Dark Eldar turn 1 coming up. Okay, Dark Eldar turn 1. It's going pretty well. We've rolled on our combat drugs, and we've rolled a 6, so we've got bonus pain tokens for a whole load of units, the Witches, and the Hellions and the Reavers are all on Feel No Pain now. It's a good start. A little bit of aggression from the Dark Eldar. With these lance weapons, we've moved forwards with the transport and also with the Ravager, just getting into within 36, just trying to eliminate some of the Imperial Guard armour early on. And then the Reavers are on the move. They come down off the ridge here and down into the riverbed. It's a cavalry charge across the river, and they are after the conscripts on the hillside. And the infantry, the Carbonite Warrior Squad, is just sitting where it is, just holding the objective. And then a bit of a change of plan, and I had deployed the Venom here with the second in command just there, looking to go forwards. But it's obvious that would be absolute suicide. So change of plan, he shifted round to the right here, heading off towards the bridge. So that'll be interesting to see what happens. So that's Dark Eldar movement on turn 1. We're going to go on to shooting now. Right, so the Ravager down in the river there is firing up at the Russ on the hillside in the open. Here we go, the first Dark Eldar firepower coming out. Freeze to hit. Just about got 2. And then knock his armour down. Strength 8, armour 12, a glance and a pen. So we've got 1 glancing hit, and now for the roll. A nice tasty 5 or a 6. A 2 becomes a 3. So not bad going, 2 hull points and a bit of damage. It's a pretty good start for the Dark Eldar. Dark Eldar turn 1. Out of the darkness has come a whole lot of firepower, or a whole lot of firing at the Imperial Guard lines. The Raider fired forwards and hit and immobilised, and a hull point on the Manticore. James not too annoyed about that result. Then the Ravager firing up, just taking the opportunity to fire now because we know we don't stand much of a chance against the Imperial Guard firepower. But the Ravager firing up got a glance and a penetration on the Leman Russ here, and that's not going to be able to move or shoot this turn. And then the Warriors out of range really, so we've just moved them up another 6 inches, still claiming the objective but just moving up to get themselves in better range. And then the Venom has moved 18 and is headed right towards the Imperial Guard line. Just a sort of a blind spot here. We'll see if we can weather the storm that's going to come in towards him and still get that webway portal deployed. And then coming across, the Reavers have had their wicked way with the conscripts, easy prey. They have earned themselves a pain token and first blood, clearing off the conscripts from the hillside. So that's the end of Dark Eldar turn 1. It's gone pretty well, but the Imperial Guard haven't been shifted from their position by no means, and we're going to see how James responds to the Dark Eldar raid. James has found the head where he dropped one of his conscripts, and its head rolled off, and we've lost it. It's lost somewhere on the gaming floor. It kind of makes sense that the Reavers have taken off some of the Imperial Guard heads, but hopefully James will be able to stick it back on again. He's found it, that's good. Imperial Guard turn 1. In response, the Imperial Guard have stayed where they are. Not on the move, it's just the Chimera's moving down quite precariously down that path there. And then pop smoke with this Leman Russ. And then the conscripts are back. Not the same ones, different ones. New units turned up. James was quite happy just to keep sending in the next wave. So that's Imperial Guard movement. He's going to let off some shots and try and destroy the Reavers. And then he said his priority is to destroy that venom. So Imperial Guard shooting coming up on turn 1. Right, shooting for the Imperial Guard on turn 1. It's gone well. It's been a lively turn 1. Usually the turn 1 games that we play, or turn 1s that we play in games, are very quiet. So Imperial Guard lines erupted in fire. They've got searchlights. They've been able to pick on the Dark Eldar units. Raiders taken some damage. Firing coming in and damage done from the auto cannons from James's squads firing up. But the Raiders still alive. Some snap fire only and 1 hull point down. The Ravager's been taken out. That was blown up by a Lehman Russ. And coming up across here, the conscripts fired but only managed to kill 1 of the Reavers. It was firepower from the Chimera here that took out the Venom, which saved a few, but he managed to get into the armour. And it became a mobilised result, but we moved flat out, so it's crashed and wrecked. Got out past our pinning check. And then firepower from the squads down here, firing across, plus a frag grenade thrown, managed to kill 2 of the Incubi. But 5 saves on the shadow field for the second in command. So the Dark Eldar have been hit hard, but they're still in the fight. It could have gone a lot worse. As the dawn breaks on the frozen river, the Dark Eldar begin to amass their force. It'll be interesting to see what reserves turn up and how they're used on this crucial turn, and will the big squadron of Hellhounds turn up and spoil everything for the Dark Eldar? We'll see. So turn 2 coming up. Right, Dark Eldar turn 2. Quite a few reserves have stayed off. The Army Commander is not on. 1 unit Hellion's not on. And the unit of Witches, 1 unit Witches not on either. So it's pretty good going, because we were waiting for that webway portal to be activated. So 1 unit Witches has come on here. They're just up and over and running down the hillside, just looking to reinforce the objective. And the Dark Eldar are worried now, because I was saying to James in his force, what has he got to actually challenge my objective, thinking that he's stuck there in the corner. Well, there is his assault force. It's those 3 Hellhounds. I'm not sure how the Dark Eldar are going to be able to deal with that. And we've just moved the Raider over 12 inches to the right, so I'm going to try and keep that alive. And then the infantry squad just hanging where they are in their position. The warriors just sitting there. Then the flyer has turned up. The Razor Wing has come out across, moving across the river and looking to take on Imperial Guard units there. Try and take out that Lehman Russ if we can. So it's nice to see the flyer turn up, see what you can do. And then the second in command is on the move. He's come out from behind the burning wreck of the Venom and looking to charge into that first unit of Imperial Guard. And then coming down the hillside, the Reavers are on the move. They're moving away from the conscripts and moving down the hillside again to take on Imperial Guard units. So it's a real mix of a game, this one. Dark Eldar attacking in places, not in full force yet. We'll see if we can get that webway portal open and let out the rest of the Dark Eldar force. And one other thing, the Scourges have arrived, a perfect deep strike right in the heart of the Imperial Guard position. So we'll see if the Guard can weather this storm. Right, Dark Eldar turn 2 shooting. The Witches just moved up a few inches. And then the Carbonite Warriors, they fired forwards with the Dark Lance and missed. And the Raiders just pulled back out of trouble. Just maybe able to use it on another turn. Then coming around, it's gone quite well. The Razor Wing, sadly, no damage on the Lehman Russ, but the missiles firing down killed a couple of the guardsmen just there. The Reavers were here, zoomed down, and caused 7 casualties on the guard squad that was just here. And James has bust morale, and the remainder of that squad is falling back. And then the Scourges, they did their job. They didn't blow the vehicle up, but another hull point. It was actually a penetrating hit from the Haywire Blaster, and it was a weapon destroyed, and it's the missiles have been taken out. So good job. I suppose they're not going to last very long, but they sort of accomplished their mission in a way. So the Imperial Guard, not getting overwhelmed, but just getting picked on here and there. Frustrating for the Imperial Guard. And some effective firepower from the Dark Eldar, but far from decisive at the moment. So that's Dark Eldar shooting done. And we've got one assault coming up. The second in command is going to see if he can jump into the barricades and take on that first unit. So Dark Eldar assault's coming up. Alright, so the Archon's made it in, and he survived one snap fire hit, rolled on his shadow field. So the Archon's got plasma grenades, he's going to go first. So freeze to hit. It's not bad, 4 hits there. And then pause to wound. Oh, 3 dead. So that's a good game. And James is going to strike back. The Incubi haven't got grenades, so the guards are going to get hit back here. Right, so in reply, we've got an Incubi who needs to make a save, 5 up, yes, and a 2+. One guardsman has stabbed the second in command. Passed. So now we'll just quickly roll, let the Incubi strike here. 2 attacks each, and then bonus charging. So freeze to hit. All of them. Oh dear. Strength 4. Freeze to win. There's a couple, but that's another 3 guardsmen. So 6 guardsmen brought down in total. So they lose the combat really badly.
Get a double one.
So I'm going to roll morale now. One's going to roll up. 6 and a 5, that's bust. Chase your initiative 7. Needs a 6 to run away. No, they've been caught and wiped out. So it's a pain token for the Dark Eldar down here. So guard squad has been overrun and chopped down. Right, so Dark Eldar assaults, that squad has destroyed that guardsman unit and just slinking, holding back because of all of this stuff that no doubt is going to fire at them in anger. It'd be a miracle if he continues to survive, but we'll see. They've earned themselves a pain token. So that's Dark Eldar turn 2 finished. It's gone well, but we'll see if the guard can reply, and will those hellhounds turn up this turn? Imperial Guard turn 2. Here they come. The conscripts are sliding down the bank and accompanied on either side by 2 hellhounds. James has just told us that it wasn't a squadron after all. Each was an independent fast attack choice. So flanked on either side by the 2 of the hellhounds. The other one remains in reserve. So here comes the Imperial Guard assault on the Dark Eldar position. And what have we got to stop it? Not much. I mean, they've got the Haywire grenades there, but I don't think we're going to do a runner towards those hellhounds. So difficult one for the Dark Eldar. Looks like both objectives under threat at the moment. Guard just holding position. Looks like the Liam Russ has spun around. He's going to try and take out the Reavers. Some attention's been shifted towards the Scourges there. He's going to see if James can take them out. And he'll be trying to take out these guys as well. Right, and then the guard squad here, James has just rallied those, so they've got back in the fight. Little squad there, and then coming around you can see the hellhound marching out across, or driving up through to the edge of the bridge. The conscripts come up and are moving down the embankment along with this hellhound as well. So it's a real mix, this game. Both players going after the key objective. That's going to be the real pivot for the game. That's where the 3 points are. So Imperial Guard shooting now, coming up on turn 2. What can they do? Right, Imperial Guard shooting on turn 2. It's gone well. James is happy. Real exchange of firepower going on here. Each side picking on different units. Imperial Guard really giving a good account of themselves. They fancy this game. This Hellhound here fired down and cut into the warriors. Took out a whole load, and then firepower, volley fire coming down from the conscripts killed a few more. So there's only 3 of them left. They've passed morale, but taking casualties, and we've lost the Dark Lance. So it's another bit of our anti-tank capability knocked out. And then with the other Hellhound, he decided to fire into the rear of the Raider and successfully penetrated the armor and immobilised it. So that's been immobilised, and 2 hard points are sort of out of the game now, that transport, which is a shame. Hasn't touched the witches. Liam Russ at the top of the hill firing down. Failed to damage any of the witches, so they're still alive. Then coming around, a double 6 hit with the autocannon on the flyer. We decided not to evade. James got 1 glancing hit, so it was a good decision. A bit scary there, firepower coming up. Autocannon's pretty good for anti-tank snapfire, or anti-flyer snapfire. The Reavers have taken some casualties, just some good shooting here. The Rust didn't do any damage, but hits from the 2 infantry squads have taken out a few more. So they've been depleted as well. And then the Scourges have gone. It was a heavy flamer from the back of the Command Chimera. Took them out. We passed 1 save on our ghost plate armour, but then he was killed. The 5th guy was killed with a multi-melter. So the Imperial Guard, they are staying their ground and they're giving a good account of themselves at the moment. And the Dark Eldar, it's a dangerous time for the Dark Eldar. It's that point where if they lose much more, then the army will find itself in trouble. So turn 3 will be critical, there's no doubt about that. Will we be able to stop this Imperial Guard advance, conscripts and hellhounds, and will the Dark Eldar reserves make any difference as they come out of that webway portal? We have no idea how this game is going to end. Right, Dark Eldar turned 3 just in reaction to the Imperial Guard assault here. The warriors have fallen back 4 inches, and then the witches just taking up position behind cover here, not going forward. It's going to try and keep out of range of those Inferno cannons. And then in support now, the Razor Wing has swung around and is heading off to give some fire support there on the hillside. And then you can see at the webway portal there, the rest of the Dark Eldar reserves have arrived. So the Hellions have burst out, moving 12, and then the army commander with his Incubi bodyguard and a unit of witches as well. And then linking up with them is the second in command. He's moved out across from the barricade as well. So it looks like the final onslaught from the Dark Eldar already on turn 3. If this assault fails, then the Guard will be able to consolidate their position and probably win the game. Got a slight feeling that the Guard have the advantage at the moment. We'll see what the Dark Eldar can do. The Reavers have moved, just going from here to here, and they're going to look to see if they can blade vein perhaps this little unit here. But that's Dark Eldar movement. Not half, but a fair amount of our force has been knocked down, but the Guard are taking casualties as well. So we'll see how it goes, see what the Dark Eldar can do. Right, Dark Eldar shooting on turn 3. It's not been too bad. The flyer's fired up, and I got a result of a 3 on that Hellhound, so silenced it, giving it a hull point. Not bad going. The Blade Veins have been in action again and killed that squad that had rallied on the hillside. So we've got 3 pain tokens on there now, so that's a fearless unit. So they've done pretty well this game, and then the reserves have just moved up. These Hellions fired. James has gone to ground here. We've still managed to kill 2 of them. And then the Witches and the fresh squad of Incubi with the Army Commander have moved up. So that's it for the Dark Eldar there. We've got 1 assault. The second in command is going to try and charge into that Chimera. See if we can glance it to death. The second in command has made it into contact with the Chimera. Right, well, here's a turn up. Units in a transport can fire snapshots, so he's got that nasty squad inside the command squad. The heavy flamer did some hits, and we passed those, but he got a 6/6 with the multi-melters. And I decided to take them on the shadow field, and we failed the last roll. So the second in command is no more. So Dark Eldar on the back foot now. That's tipping it. We've made it into combat though with the Incubi. 6 attacks. Can see if we can pick up some glances here. So it's freeze to hit as James moved. Oh dear. 6/6 would be nice. Nothing. That's the end of assaults. It's gone bad for the Dark Eldar. So that's it for the Dark Eldar. It's gone bad. Will it get worse? It's a case of here we go again. It could be. The big question is, Imperial Guard turn 3. Will this lot survive, or will they not? Crucial turn coming up. Imperial Guard turn 3. Here we go. It reminds me of the Russian front. the Russians are advancing. It's not good now. The Dark Eldar are in trouble. There's no doubt about it. This Hellhound is free to move up. It's a fast vehicle, so it's gone 12 inches, and its flamer is going to be in range of these guys. So there is trouble brewing. Conscripts are moving down the hillside as well. The other Hellhound on top of the bridge there has pop smoke to protect itself. Will the Razor Wing come to the rescue? This is going to be a difficult one as the Dark Eldar start to slip down into the abyss. And then James is reacting. Still a lot of vehicles alive. The thing is with Imperial Guard, if you don't kill enough of them, then that weight of firepower and vehicle power starts to tell in the later turns of the game. Dark Eldar have caused trouble, but perhaps not enough. It looks like he's ignoring the Reavers here on top, and all firepower is going to be directed towards this lot in the middle. So Imperial Guard shooting coming up on turn 3. The big question, how much this stuff will survive? Will it be enough left to have an effective impact on the game? Even if it's difficult, because if he wipes us out here and we have nothing left, then he'll consolidate on this objective and take it. Trouble brewing for the Dark Eldar. We'll see what happens on turn 3. Right, Imperial Guard turn 3. It's been a tale of woe for the Dark Eldar. It's bad. Very, very bad. Bad turn. Hellhound firing forwards. has wiped out the last of the Carbonite Warriors and took out 4 of the witches, so we are under attack. It's not going very well at all. And then coming around here, some Dark Eldar have survived, but he has fired everything he's got. Absolutely everything. And the Hellions are gone. There's only 2 witches left, and then 2 Incubi, and the army commander still lives. So desperate stuff. He hasn't taken out any of the Reavers on the hillside, but Dark Eldar now are down to just a handful of figures again. Once again, Dark Eldar Glass Hammer, as it's been called, not lasting particularly well. We've still got some fight left in us, but getting to that desperate stage again. So we'll see how they do. So that's the end of Imperial Guard turn 3. Turn 4, this is the last gasp, perhaps, of this Dark Eldar force. Can they make a difference as we go into turn 4? Eldar turn 4. It's a critical one. It's the last ditch attempt, really. The witches have moved out here, and they are actually moving off towards the Hellhound. It's about 9-10 inches charge. They're going to have to do amazingly well if they're going to reach it in combat. I think that's about our best option. Bit of support coming over though. We want to hold on to this objective. So the witches are key to keep them alive. And part of keeping them alive is to throw them into that combat to try and eliminate that threat over there. So the fly's spun round and is heading off towards the Hellhound as well. Will it come to the rescue? It could save the day. Then coming around, the Reavers have changed priority. They've shifted off now back, heading off in this direction, and they're after those conscripts to try and knock out some of those. Try and at least secure our objective. And then down here, the last remnants of the Dark Eldar force. We're going to 2 Incubi here, and the army commander of the Incubi. They're going to be hunting tanks, trying to inflict glancing hits. And then finally the 2 witches here, just looking to go into combat. I'm going to try and actually get themselves locked in combat to keep themselves alive. Right, here we go, this flyer. We're going to try and save the day. So 2 Dark Lances down at this. 3 up, here we go. 2 hits, it's a good start, 5s and 6s would be nice. 1 penetrating hit on a 5. This is it, everyone, the big roll. Will we save this objective? A nice 5 or a 6. 2. It's AP2, so it becomes a 3. We've silenced it, but it ain't enough. Not enough. Right, James says he thinks he's won. The guard are getting that confident now. So plasma grenade and a pistol shot has killed about 4 or 5 of the guardsmen down there. So that's good going, but it's just too little. Too late, we think. Could be wrong. Right, then coming across, the Reavers blade veined across. They killed 3 more of the guardsmen. Now that forced a morale check there on them, and that's the result. And double 1, they are after promotion. They want to be let into the regular forces. So that conscript unit pushes ahead. So the flyer firing down, penetrated, and we've sort of got a 3 there, so that tank can't move and it's snap fire only. So it's not bad going, but not good at the same time. Desperation from the Dark Eldar. So we've got assaults. We've got the desperate assault over here. Will they make it? 9 inches. And then Incubi trying to scratch vehicles, open them with their can openers here. And then the witches charging in. So a lot of little combats going on. We'll see what happens. So here comes this charge then. It's a big roll. Big roll. I think we're going to re-roll this with Fleet. You get a second chance. The first dice, a 4. I need to get a 6 will get us in. A 6.
We'll see.
It's 10, but it's still a whisker short. We'd actually just fall short of the dozer blade here, so they don't make it in. We needed 11 to actually make it as desperate stuff, so they're going to sit there. Right, that's it. Bad for the Dark Eldar again. Really, the game is over. The witches charged in, but got taken out on Snapfire. Unbelievable. So they're gone. It's just these Incubi and the Army Commander have managed to reach the Hellhound. Just trying to eliminate a dangerous threat there. But James's objective looks quite secure. Dark Eldar are going to continue with the few rags that they have left. This charge didn't go in. So we just have that combat there. Can we glance that Hellhound to death? We shall see. So it might be a case of mopping up action for the guard and something else. We could be looking at a second wipeout against the Dark Eldar. James will love that. We'll see what happens. Right, so they've done pretty good. The 2 glancing hits there on the Hellhound, but that's it. Didn't kill it. Shame. So that's it now. Imperial Guard. All this Imperial Guard stuff has simply got to take out those 5 guys there. Not good. We'll see if James can wipe us out now. It's turn 4, and the Dark Eldar are clinging on by a single thread. Imperial Guard turn 4 coming up. Right, Imperial Guard turn 4. Here's my Army Commander and his bodyguard, and here's James with his tanks. It's going to be execution style. Looks like we're saying goodbye to our command here. Shame, real shame. We've got that same feeling that we've had before when we played against Necrons. The Imperial Guard are doing the same. Looks like they're going for the wipeout. So it's the Dark Eldar General's famous last stand. James is gearing up just to secure this end of the table. He's done well. He's absorbed the blows from the Dark Eldar, survived, and then has hit back every time. So it's a good game. Just tanks in position here, just lining themselves up to finish units off. And then coming around the other side, that Hellhound, it wasn't taken out, it's back in action, it's driven to the edge, and he's going to let down a torrent onto this unit here. The conscripts are advancing, bold as brass. So, Imperial Guard shooting now, coming up on turn 4. Right, objective secured for the guard. Witches has taken a few casualties but not wiped out. There's still 4 of them left, and the Reavers haven't been touched. But around the other side, sadly, the Dark Eldar presence has been eliminated, so that objective is now secure. So the guard, beginning to sense victory. We're far from that. They know that victory is there. But the Dark Eldar are cheeky. They'll try everything they can to stay in the fight with our last few figures. 4 Reavers, 4 Witches. That's it. That's the end of it. There's no assault, so we're going to move in now to Dark Eldar turn 5. So turn 5 could be the last turn of the game. We don't want to get another wipeout. That would be unbearable. Right, Dark Eldar movement on turn 5. We can forget about that half of the table. So we're just coming down here. The flyer has zoomed off. We're sort of hoping that we'll move on to turn 6 in a way. He can come on and try and do something. But the Reavers have turned around. They're going to try and take on the conscripts. And the Witches, they can't hang back. We're leaving the objective, but we've got to take out at least that Hellhound to stand any chance. It's the final desperate action here from the Dark Eldar. So we're going to move on to a shooting now and assaults for the Dark Eldar on turn 5. So here it is, the final fling just on this sector here, the fight on the ice. The Witches threw a haywire grenade at the tank, but didn't do any damage and have now charged in. And then the Reavers, they killed one of the conscripts and are charging in, but Ben's about to roll 24 dice for his snapfire. Here we go. 6. Nothing. Not bad. So we've got away with that. So we're in combat, and we'll go first, and then we'll try and take out that. So we might have a mini victory over here. So in the mini game we win, but in the overall game we've lost. Pretty much the Imperial Guard tank force is, apart from some damage, is pretty much intact. So it could be a humiliating defeat here again. But anyway, let's focus on this little battle here. A convincing win for the Dark Eldar here. The Witches have taken out the Hellhound, and the Reavers have wiped out the conscripts. So we won the little victory there, but James has just reminded me, send in the next waves. The third wave of conscripts is going to turn up on top of the ridgeline there, so just depressing. The last few Dark Eldar then here, clinging on, and it'll be a mopping up action for James on his turn 5. We'll perhaps hope the game comes to an end. We'll see what happens. Might have a little trick left up our sleeve, we shall see. Right, so Imperial Guard turn 5, just holding on to the objective here quite comfortably. He sent out one Chimera just to head off towards the objective and pop in smoke as well. And then the Hellhound and Command Chimera are on the move along the embankment there. And then coming across, the other Chimera is moving off as well. Nice mobile force, a lot of transports here, and it's serving James's purpose well. The Hellhound's just sitting there. And then the conscripts have arrived on the ridgeline. I'm going to shoot down and try and wipe out the last of this Dark Eldar force. It's gone well for the Guard today. James has been impressed by James and Ben, both working together in today's game. Right, so sadly they're gone. The conscripts firing down, and then a Lehman Russ firing from way up the table, firing down, has wiped out the Reavers. And then the Inferno cannon. Good performance from these Hellhounds, been helpful. That's taken out the last of the Witches, so the Dark Eldar are gone. It's just this immobilised transport and then the damaged flyer that's still alive. James is going to roll up to see if the game continues. He's rolled a 2. So the game is over. The Dark Eldar haven't been tabled, but they virtually have. Another humiliation for them. Sad, really. They hurled themselves at the Imperial Guard, but the Guard stood their ground, fought back, secured the objective, and then assaulted the enemy position. So well done, James. That's a good Guard list, but just as he masters the Guard, the new Codex is on the way. So that's just the life of a Guardsman. Hurrah for the third wave. For the conscripts as they come over the crest of the hill for the third time. They look out across the table and see just the corpses of the Dark Eldar. One Dark Eldar raider. I'm sure the Imperial Guard will capture that vehicle and study its technology. And the Webway portal has been opened on another planet. Many came out of it, but again, none have returned. The Dark Eldar humiliated, their pride has been dented, but they will be raiding a planet again in the near future. So just calculating victory points here. The Dark Eldar get 1 point. They got first blood. And then the Imperial Guard, they get 3 points for their objective. James is just about within 3 inches there, so that's secured. That's 3 points. No line breaker for James though. And he slayed the wall, or he did. So 4-1, the final score to the Imperial Guard. So a nice, clean, clear victory for the Imperium on the frozen river outside Imperial territory. So the battle is won. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.